Hi folks, thanks for joining me once again. The Profile Unity RTA. Wotofo have re-collaborated with Mr. Just Right, the Vaper Chronicles, and this time included OF/RF for their mesh strips. But has it worked? I want to thank the guys over at Quick-Wick for sending me this over for review. Along with this, you'll see my written review on the Quick-Wick website. So I urge you to go on there and have a little read and look at the other reviews on the site as well. Some really good stuff. Let's crack on. Right then. Let's not mess about with this one. No. Okay, apologise for the reflectiveness. This is the box that your Wotofo Profile Unity RTA will come in. I think on my last Wotofo review, I kept saying Wotofo, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, so this is the box. This side, social media, and the colour of the RTA. Bit of fancy bling there. Bits and bobs there, obviously authenticity, what comes in the kit, which we'll obviously go through. On the back, a bit more detail, and also you can see the collaboration going on here between these four, say, brands, obviously the two viewers. So there's a lot of people involved in this, there really is. Let's get this off because this reflectiveness is just driving me mad. And there's your main attraction. Obviously this Wotofo packaging is lovely, really nice, real bright and bold. It's lovely to photograph, but the RTA itself is annoying to photograph. Anyway, this is the non-TPD version. So the TPD, guys, you can have a 2mm glass. This has got a 3.5 and a 5mm with the glass tank extender that I'll show you. So let's get these bits out and I'll show you all the gumph that you get inside. Right, you get your coiling tool and your posi bit, your Phillips head screwdriver, your big fat beefy cotton, your RF mesh strips. We'll look at these a bit closer soon, guys. And you get spare O-rings, the glass extender, a couple of screws, and your Profile Unity user manual, which is big. But I'll stress you have a good look at this, folks, because you've got details on exactly how to put this thing together. Let's start at the top, work our way down. 810 drip tip, and you get the O-ring inside there. I'm not a fan of this drip tip, it's way too chunky in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. It's compatible, so you can pop others on. So anyway, that kind of twists off with like a 45 degree, 90 degree kind of turn. There's inside, you get a silicone seal in here, fairly clean. There's your top there, you see these big filling slots. Almost found the whole thing if it wasn't for these parts there. Well, as you can see there, that was trying to spin from that point there, which takes your glass off. And you can see here, you can see inside there already what's going on. There's your airflow, adjustable, stops there, nice clicky sound, and stops at maximum, and that goes right through both sides. Unscrew this part, and there's your deck. Now if you're familiar with the Profile RTA, excuse me, you'll know about this, but if you're not familiar with the Profile RTA, I'll quickly say, so obviously your mesh or coil, but this is made for mesh, your mesh will sit in that slot and that slot. It will curve over like that, and then as you stuff your cotton in, that is spring loaded, so it helps hold your cotton up against the mesh strip. Now you can see down here, this is where your cotton will sit in there and there. Pay attention to the wicking, very important how you wick this obviously. And your juice will obviously wick from in here and around the mesh. It's all very nice and tidy, very clean, nice and shining. I haven't seen anything dodgy, anything mucky, no dirt or grease, anything like that. I haven't looked at the bottom, let's have a look at the bottom. Very nice indeed, very nice indeed. Alright, let's try and put the adapter on for the 5mm, so you're going to have to get this little baggie out. Right, that screws on there like so, and that allows you to put on the 5mm glass. that sits on there pretty cleanly. So then you can get the rest of the bits, put this all back together. And that was the Profile Unity RTA. I've got 70 watts, the mesh strip come out at 0.17. I've got the airflow on 4 out of the 5 holes. Let's give it a little bash, shall we? Flavour and clouds, but we'll talk about that shortly. Let's crack on with styling and feel. Looks pretty smart. It's a normal looking RTA, nothing completely different about it. It's very standard. You've got this kind of mid to lower airflow. The drip tip that comes with it, the wide, thick one, I'm not a big fan of. I didn't get on with it. Whether they've got it like this for heat dissipation, or whether they believe it improves flavour, in my opinion, a wider bore 810 drip tip was more comfortable. I enjoyed it a lot more. Apart from that, everything feels and fits good. Everything screws in nicely. The tolerances on the O-rings are all very good. It's a bit of a bugbear of mine that I have to take it off of my mod to screw the base, the build deck, onto the rest of the tank. A little bit annoying, but it's no major issue really. Build deck, well, it's very much the same as the RDA. Pop mesh in nice and easily. If you're going to use a normal coil, then it's easy enough to screw together. Very simple. Build deck's not the issue, it's wicking. Wicking's the big one, and everyone's going on about the wicking. I've put 9 builds in this, and my first 5. The first 5 I've done weren't quite right. They were either too tight with the cotton or too loose, and I was getting leaks. If you have that issue, it's easy enough to take it apart and kind of try and alter it, but we'll talk a bit more about that shortly. If you get this wicking right, it's ace, it's brilliant. But do you really want to put the time and effort of doing 6, 7, 8, 9, however many builds to get that right? Well, that's up to you. That's you know how dedicated you about having a mesh RTA. Wicking's a big one. When I was wicking, I didn't use the Wotofo. I did try the Wotofo cotton, but I used cotton bacon. If you get one of the thick strips, and I'll try and show you, and you just pull apart about a third of it, because they're quite beefy. You just take away about that much. Yeah, and you just twist that together nice and tight. It goes in very nicely, very easily. I just found it a bit better. I think the Wotofo cotton is just too dense. It's too packed in. It's not fluffy enough. Obviously, you need that denseness where the mesh is to help to be pressed up against the mesh. But the rest of it needs to be fairly fluffy so it can wick as best it can. Because you're kind of asking 10% of the cotton to wick the rest. On a normal RTA or RDA build deck, you've kind of got more like 20 to 25% of that cotton doing the wicking for you. You just don't have enough cotton wicking. So you want something that's kind of fluffy at the bottom part of the deck, but dense where the mesh is. Airflow is very standard, very simple. I've had it on 4 out of 5 holes wide open, and I'm getting a nice, slightly restrictive vape, just how I like it. Not too hot, not too cool, absolutely spot on for me. Filling and leaking. Okay, start with filling. Easy enough to fill. The slots are quite narrow, so if you're using a bottle with a quite a wide tip at the end, you're going to struggle really. But you can just hold it away from the actual slot itself and kind of pour it in. It works fine. Leaking's the big one, and that kind of takes me back to wicking. If you wick this wrong, it's going to pour out of them holes, and I've had it on a number of occasions. So it does leak. The other thing is when you are putting the build deck onto the rest of the tank, and you've obviously juiced up that cotton, and you kind of squeeze that together. If your cotton is too big, too much cotton, and you squeeze it together, it kind of pours out as well. So as you're kind of twisting it together, it gets a bit mucky. Hopefully you've seen that from the build I done then. I know it's sped up, but you can kind of see that as I'm putting it together, it's quite mucky, quite sticky, and a bit of a mess. So you do get a leak if you don't wick it right, and it is a bit mucky when you are putting it together. Flavour and clouds. Let's give it a little bash, shall we? Again, a lovely, thick, dense vapour, and the flavour is good. It's good. It's no game changer. It's not going to be the best vape you've ever had. If you've got this wicking right, it is a good vape. That's as far as it goes, in my opinion. I haven't had any dry hits. I've had a couple where I thought, ooh, that's not wicking enough. There's not enough. There's too much cotton in there, and it's not getting to that mesh. But I haven't had any dry hits, thank goodness, because I've heard they're awful. The flavour's good. The flavour is good, and that's as far as it goes. So my final thoughts on this really is the main thing. Because of the time and effort you've got to put into wicking, the end result isn't enough, in my opinion. If you get this right, if you get your wicking absolutely spot on, and you see them bubbles coming up in the tank, the flavour's just not enough to warrant putting that much time and effort into using this RTA. It is good. I think it will do okay. I think it will do quite well. I just don't think it's worth the time and effort. It's really not. It's fairly trustworthy, but you always got in the back of your mind that mesh, is that cotton covering that mesh completely? Am I going to get slightly burnt here? Every vape you take, every pull you take, you think, oh, does that? You're more. If you're driving an old car, or whatever you're driving, and you start hearing a knocking sound, you're instantly thinking, oh, what's that this time? Something's going to go wrong, and you just can't trust it, and you can't trust this RTA. Well, I can't trust it. I can't trust it to take it with me every day. If you're looking for a new RTA on the market, you want flavour, you want reliability, you want a nice build deck, you want good airflow, you want no leaking, get the Zeus X. I hope that's helpful for you guys. If it was, hit that like button or subscribe if you fancy it. Don't forget to hit the little bell and get notifications when I upload all my new videos. I'm FlatCap Vaper. Thanks for watching.